what's the inspiration to do it at all? Haunted houses are kind of our ability to do live performance of these role-playing kinds of experiences that we build. In the early 80s, they became far more elaborate, but still more focused on young kids, generally of trick-or-treating age, often coming with their parents. And then it wasn't until the late 80s and into the 90s when I built this home that the scale went up again, and I began to build these extremely elaborate haunted houses, and no longer really focused on, or frankly even acceptable for young kids, really much more adult-oriented experiences. My haunted houses, and my home for that matter, are much more fantasy-driven than gore-driven, and they're much more problem-solving than boo scare-driven. If you think about most haunted houses, they're fundamentally a series of rooms full of boo scares, but it's very different than what we do here. In this haunted house, we periodically have you on a channel or with a guide to make sure you get from point A to point B successfully. But we really try to set up situations where we, as often as possible and for as long as possible, leave you alone to find your own way and give you at least the illusion of that there are multiple ways you could go. And hopefully put enough dead ends or blocks or ways to shepherd you along, and if you start taking too long, encourage you to continue to get through these spaces.
Get these worthless mortals out of my
So one of the things that's very different about the haunted houses that we do here was, our goal was not to put a large number of people through, but rather to make sure that the few that got through had the most incredible experience possible. I mean, we were kind of mercifully free of the requirements of making money. Most haunted houses, they're either for profit or charity, and so therefore you need to spend less than you bring in. Our big worry was, would anybody come? And it was funny to watch what happened that first year. So that first year we actually did send feelers out through our friends. We made some little flyers we handed out through our friends network and such. And so the first day of operation, we opened up and people were generally wandering up to this end of the street at about the same rate we were letting them in. So it was well occupied, but not a line by any means. However, by day 2, immediately the word had spread. And by day 2, I woke up after, we went to bed late the night before, and I woke up and looked out my bathroom window where I can see my front gates, and, there's people out there. Starting with the second year, the line was assumed. I mean, immediately, and it filled well to capacity, days, and by the end runs, weeks, literally weeks before we ever opened our doors. So in that final year, if you weren't in line 2 weeks prior to opening night, you didn't get in. So as soon as I get the new house built, the inaugural event will be the big haunted house. My guess is it's still got another 3 to 5 years before that's finished.